When you act as if you already belong at the top, your mind starts finding the way. You speak differently. You walk with clarity. You attract respect. That's the transformation from doubting to doing. The target is the life you know you're meant to live. And the stakes, if you keep waiting to feel ready, you might wait forever. But if you move now, you change everything. In a few moments, you'll discover how to act as if you fear nothing and unlock the mindset that attracts success. It defeats your limitations. Every limitation a person perceives is not carved into the structure of the world, nor embedded into the nature of reality. It is manufactured piece by piece within the mind. The boundaries that seem immovable, the ceilings that feel unbreakable, and the walls that stand tall before one's dreams, these are not external forces. They are internal constructs, mental barricades. And once this truth is understood in its full depth, life itself transforms. Limitations are not facts, they are beliefs. And beliefs can be changed. They are not steel bars of a prison, they are shadows dissipating the moment the light of courageous thought is shone upon them. The person who allows fear to rule their thoughts becomes enslaved to imaginary barriers, but the one who rises with faith in their own capacity begins the journey toward mastery. Consider the life of Hannibal Barca, a Carthaginian general trained from youth to defy impossibility. When Rome towered over the Mediterranean world, Hannibal led his army across the Alps, a feat deemed suicidal by many. With elephants, infantry, and unwavering resolve, he descended upon Rome's doorstep. His path was not paved with ease, it was carved through snow, fear, and treacherous terrain. Yet through each trial he refused to let fear define his fate. What fueled this audacity? It was not luck. It was not validation. It was the absence of fear. Hannibal was not ignorant of his difficulties. He simply refused to worship them. He refused to bend before fear of rejection or the paralyzing dread of another failure. He stepped forward time after time, acting with faith where others retreated in doubt. His legacy was the natural consequence of this unwavering courage. Every human being is presented with two choices at the threshold of every opportunity: act boldly or retreat in fear. The former leads to growth, the latter to decay. Most people live shackled to their comfort zones, mistaking safety for peace. But safety is not peace. It is stagnation disguised as wisdom. Real peace comes only when a person moves boldly in the direction of their purpose, confronting uncertainty with the calmness of one who trusts in their inner power. Fear is a liar. It tells you that you are not ready, not worthy, not capable. It whispers that failure is dangerous, that rejection is death. But failure is education. Rejection is redirection. Both are steps on the staircase of greatness. The only real danger is inaction, the silent killer of dreams. To dissolve limitations, one must act. Not wait, not hope, not pray for a better moment. Action is the alchemy that transforms the impossible into the inevitable. And bold action, unburdened by the need for guarantees, unchained from the craving for certainty, is the mark of all high achievers. Boldness is not recklessness. It is alignment. It is the refusal to betray one's vision. It is the discipline to act in the face of fear, because one understands that the fear is not real, only the dream is. You are greater than any obstacle. This is not a hopeful mantra. It is a truth written into your very being. Every obstacle, every challenge, every difficulty is simply an invitation to rise. And those who rise, who act, who persist, discover that the walls were never real. The ceilings were illusions. The boundaries were thoughts. There is a fire within every person, a silent, indestructible will. It sleeps under the weight of doubt, but it awakens when summoned by purpose. When you act with fearless belief, this fire becomes your guide. It will illuminate the path through the fog of uncertainty. It will burn down the bridges of hesitation. Greatness belongs to those who dare, not those who wish, not those who analyze endlessly, but those who act with faith and power, the ones who move before the conditions are perfect, the ones who build the wings on the way down. These are the builders of empires, the authors of change. The chains holding any man or woman are not forged by society. They are formed in thought, and the key is action. Courageous, purposeful action. Step forward. The chains will break. The walls will fall. The world will make way. You are not limited. You are limitless. But only action will prove it. 2. It shapes your reality. In the invisible workshop of the mind, there lies a force more powerful than all the armies of the world. The power of thought. It is this force that carves out one's destiny, sculpts one's character, and lays the foundation of every achievement. Every man who has risen from obscurity to greatness has first mastered his thought. Act as if fear does not exist, and watch how swiftly your environment rearranges itself to your new standard. Fear is not real. It is merely a thought clothed in doubt. Cast it aside and your true self begins to emerge. The person who learns to dominate fear becomes the master of his fate and the captain of his soul. Your thoughts give rise to beliefs. These beliefs drive your actions. Repeated actions become habits, and habits build the reality in which you dwell. To change your world, change your thoughts. All progress, all wealth, all peace begins within. A man who holds firm belief in his purpose begins to carry himself differently. His eyes are set with determination. His words carry power. He takes bold action, not because he knows the outcome, but because he knows his cause is just. And in return, the world yields. Doors open, circumstances shift, fortunes change. Meanwhile, the man who is governed by fear delays, hesitates, and finds reasons why success is not for him. He spends his life watching others rise while he remains a servant to the imaginary chains of doubt. To think without fear is to unlock your potential. It is to enter the realm of possibility. It is to plant your flag on the summit of your dreams before the climb has even begun. History honors the bold thinkers, the men who believed in themselves when the world doubted them, the builders of bridges, the dreamers of empires, the authors of peace. Their victories were born not in certainty, but in courageous imagination. Ask yourself, what reality am I shaping with my current thoughts? What grand vision have I buried beneath fear? And more importantly, what could I become if I thought only of success? You are never defeated by external forces. Defeat begins in the mind. Adopt the mindset of the victor. See yourself as the person you wish to become and begin to act accordingly. Speak as if you command the future. Walk as if the ground was made for your journey. Choose thoughts that uplift, empower, and direct you toward your aim. Because when you think fearlessly, you do not wait for permission, you create the opportunity. Every building, every innovation, every triumph that exists today was once just a thought held firmly in the mind of a fearless individual. Now the question is, what reality will you create? Guard your thoughts, for they are the seeds of destiny. Think boldly, think clearly, and let the power within you shape the world around you. 3. It turns setbacks into stepping stones. Every man who seeks to rise above mediocrity must come face to face with adversity. It is not a matter of if, but when. Life's setbacks are inevitable. But here lies the secret known only to those who have tasted greatness. Your attitude toward those setbacks determines your trajectory. You see, most men stumble and remain on the ground. They curse their misfortune. They question their worth. But the man who is determined, the man who has fixed his vision upon a burning purpose, sees the setback not as punishment, but as preparation. There is power in this shift. There is wisdom in learning to interpret failure as feedback. When you adopt this mindset, when you act fearlessly, even in the face of repeated defeat, something miraculous happens. Your failures become fuel. Alexander Graham Bell's vision of transmitting the human voice across distance was once considered laughable. In his laboratory, he encountered breakdown after breakdown. His prototypes failed. His ideas were challenged. Yet not once did he surrender to despair. He saw each failed attempt not as evidence of impossibility, but as instruction. Each error was a teacher. Each delay was a sharpening stone. And so, with relentless faith in his purpose, he pressed on. His setbacks became stepping stones, and those stones led directly to the invention of the telephone, a device that forever altered human communication. What then shall you do with your setbacks? Shall you treat them as chains, or will you use them as chisels to sculpt your future? The most powerful transformation you can undergo is to embrace the idea that nothing is wasted. Not pain, not rejection, not failure. Every experience is either a lesson or a lever. It is not what happens to you that matters most. It is what you do with what happens to you. Fearless living is not the absence of failure. It is the absence of defeatism. It is the belief that adversity is temporary and that you possess the power to overcome. When you think in this manner, you begin to see clearly. Obstacles are not in the way. Obstacles are the way. The man who conquers his circumstances is the man who never lets temporary setbacks become permanent conditions. He rises, again and again. And each time he rises with more wisdom, more strength, more resolve. Setbacks are often the universe's way of testing the sincerity of your desire. They ask, how badly do you want this? They challenge your commitment. And if your answer is firm, your attitude unshaken, then you will pass the test and move forward to claim your prize. So when failure knocks on your door, welcome it as a messenger. Ask it, what are you here to teach me? And once you have learned the lesson, move forward with speed and certainty. Do not dwell. Do not pity. Let your mind dominate your circumstances. The giants of industry, the pioneers of invention, the leaders of change, they all share this trait. They used setbacks as staircases. Your journey will not be without trial, but if you cultivate the right attitude, each trial will make you stronger, wiser, and closer to your goals. Let your setbacks sharpen your vision. Let them refine your purpose. Let them build in you a fortitude that no force can break, because in truth, there is no such thing as failure. There are only lessons and stepping stones. Your attitude is the compass. Let it point unwaveringly toward victory. It unlocks your true potential. There comes a moment in every life when the path forward is not lit by certainty, but obscured by doubt. At that moment, a man must decide whether to pause or to press forward. Understand this truth. Fear is the lock that bars the door to your destiny, but action, decisive, courageous action, is the key. You were not born to hesitate. You were not designed to shrink in the face of risk. The same mind that creates fear also contains the power to overcome it, and the means by which it is overcome is simple, yet profound. Take action. Every man who has left his mark upon the world has done so by moving forward in spite of fear. He felt it, but he did not obey it. He understood that action breeds confidence, while inaction feeds doubt. Carnegie was not born into wealth or privilege. His beginnings were humble, his resources scarce, but within him burned a spirit that did not wait for permission. He did not wait for ideal circumstances. He acted boldly, with a vision so grand it seemed foolish to others. He started small, delivering telegrams, working long hours, observing, learning, and then step by fearless step, he began to build. He invested in himself. He surrounded himself with knowledge and men of wisdom. His courage multiplied his capabilities. That fearless action awakened within him strengths and talents that would have otherwise remained dormant. And from those simple beginnings, Mr. Carnegie rose to become one of the greatest industrialists the world has ever known. This, then, is the eternal law. When you move forward with boldness, life moves with you. You do not need to see the whole staircase to take the first step. You must simply begin. The act of beginning, even if imperfectly, starts a chain reaction. You unlock ideas, resources, relationships, and strength that were waiting just beyond the door of hesitation. Within you are abilities you have not yet touched, talents not yet tested, powers lying dormant, waiting to be summoned, and they do not awaken by thought alone. They awaken through action. Do not wait for the fear to vanish. Move while it is still present. Every step you take through fear diminishes its hold, and soon you will look back and wonder why you ever doubted your strength. The great difference between those who achieve and those who only dream is not talent nor luck. It is initiative. It is the ability to say, though I feel fear, I will act anyway. Action is the alchemist that turns vision into reality. It is the bridge from imagination to manifestation. It transforms the invisible into the tangible. And the more fearlessly you act, the more powerful you become. Fear is clever. It disguises itself as logic, as caution, as prudence. But its true aim is to keep you where you are, and where you are is not where you are meant to stay. So I ask you now, what dream have you delayed? What idea have you left untouched? What goal lies waiting behind the lock of fear? The key is already in your possession. Use it. Take the first step, speak the words, make the call, start the project, move. Because in motion your power is revealed. You will not know your true strength until you are tested. You will not discover your full potential until you take the leap. Fear loses its grip the moment you take fearless action, and in that moment you begin to rise. Remember, fear is the lock, but you hold the key. Turn it and walk boldly into your greatness. 5. It guides your courageous actions. There is a common misunderstanding that must be shattered. Acting fearlessly does not mean the absence of fear. No man who ever accomplished anything great was entirely without fear. The difference between the average man and the man of destiny is this: the latter moves forward despite Courage is not born in comfort. It is forged in the fire of uncertainty in moments when the path ahead is obscured and the outcome unknown. To act with courage is to affirm to the universe that your purpose is stronger than your fear. Ulysses S. Grant was no stranger to fear. In battle, he often faced overwhelming odds. Yet it was not his circumstances that defined him, but the decisions he made in those circumstances. When others hesitated, he advanced. When others doubted, he commanded. It was this consistent, courageous action that turned tides, won wars, and changed the course of history. Grant did not wait to feel courageous. He chose courage. And in choosing it again and again, he became its embodiment. So must you. Fear is not the enemy. Fear is the signal. It tells you that you are approaching the edge of growth. It appears when you step beyond the familiar, and it can either halt your progress or fuel your rise. Courage is the choice to move anyway. Every time you act with courage, you reinforce a powerful truth within, I am capable. With each brave decision, you begin to sculpt a new identity, one not governed by limitation, but led by bold vision. Understand this clearly. Courage is not an event. It is a habit. It is not reserved for heroes or the extraordinary. It is available to you right now in the everyday choices you face. To speak the truth when silence would be easier. To take the leap when staying still feels safe. To stand alone, if it means standing for what is right. These are not grand, dramatic acts. They are simple, deliberate decisions repeated over time. And these are the acts that change a life. Courage is the quiet power that builds momentum. It does not always roar. Sometimes it is a whisper that says, try again tomorrow. And the beauty of courage is this. It compounds. Every act of bravery, no matter how small, becomes a deposit in the bank of self-belief. Over time, this reserve of inner strength becomes unshakable. You begin to trust yourself. You begin to face challenges, not with dread but with readiness. The man who chooses courage daily becomes a man the world cannot ignore. So ask yourself, what would you do if you were not afraid? What action have you delayed because fear held the reins? And more importantly, what might become possible if you decided just once to act in spite of it? This is your invitation. Choose courage not once but daily. Speak boldly, decide swiftly, act deliberately, because each time you do, you step into the person you were meant to be. Courage is not something you find. It is something you choose, and in choosing it, you change everything. Fear may visit, but it no longer governs. You are not led by doubt. You are guided by conviction. You are not held back by what might go wrong. You are moved by what must go right. Let courage be your compass, and you will never lose your way. For in this life, the bold do not wait for strength. They create it, one brave action at a time. 6. It eliminates doubt. There is no force more crippling to the human spirit than doubt. It whispers lies, feeds hesitation, and stalls progress. Doubt is the silent thief of dreams. But there is a truth that must be understood by all who seek greatness. Doubt paralyzes. Fearlessness liberates. When you take bold, unwavering action, when you dare to act with conviction, doubt cannot survive. It fades, retreats, dissolves, because doubt is not real power. It is merely the shadow of fear, and shadows vanish in the light of decisive action. There are many who have changed history through fearless living, but few stand as firmly in that truth as Susan B. Anthony. In a time when the world told her to remain silent, when laws and customs resisted her every word, she moved forward anyway. She did not wait for approval. She did not allow doubt to dictate her destiny. Her mission was clear: justice, equality, and the unshakable belief in the dignity of every human being. With each act of defiance against injustice, she erased the doubt in her path, not just for herself, but for generations to follow. Her fearless commitment silenced uncertainty and carved a path where none had existed. And what she did, you can do. Understand this. The moment you decide to believe in your mission with your whole heart, doubt loses its power. It can no longer sway your judgment. It can no longer delay your action. You become immune to its grip because your vision has become more powerful than your fear. It is not doubt that stops you. It is your tolerance of it. When you move with clarity, when you commit to your purpose fully, something profound happens. You stop asking for signs. You stop waiting for the right moment. You become the creator of moments. You begin to believe, not because the world validates you, but because you have validated yourself. Fearless action is the cure. It silences the inner voice that says, "What if I fail?" and replaces it with, "What if I succeed beyond measure?" Doubt thrives in stillness. It grows in delay, but it cannot coexist with motion. When you take the first step, no matter how uncertain, you begin to rob doubt of its foundation. With each bold move, you fortify your belief. With each brave decision, your confidence expands. Do not wait to feel certain. Certainty is not a prerequisite for action. It is the result of action. Think on this. How many dreams have died in the waiting rooms of doubt? How many talents have gone unseen because their owner listened to fear? That must not be your story. The world rewards those who move, who risk, who dare. Not because they have no doubt, but because they refuse to bow to it. Doubt asks questions. Fearlessness gives answers. Doubt delays. Fearlessness decides. Doubt hesitates. Fearlessness, and in every case, it is action that transforms. Action that builds confidence. Action that opens doors. You have within you a mission, a purpose that was given to no one else. Do not let doubt dim its light. Do not let fear write your story. Choose belief. Choose clarity. Choose action. Because when you act fearlessly, you invite certainty. You create momentum. You forge strength. Doubt cannot withstand a soul on fire with conviction. Let your purpose burn brighter than your fear. Let your steps be louder than your hesitation. Fearless action is not a feeling. It is a decision. And with each decision, you move further from doubt and closer to destiny. 7, it builds confidence. There is a great lie the world repeats, that confidence is something you are born with, that some men simply have it while others do not. Let this be made clear. Confidence is not inherited. It is earned. It is built. And like any muscle, it grows only when used. Confidence is the result of fearless action, deliberate steps taken in the face of uncertainty. Each time you move forward boldly, you send a message to your subconscious. I trust myself. And over time, this trust becomes unshakable. Confidence is not the absence of doubt. It is the triumph over doubt. It is the unwavering decision to act in spite of the voice that says, "You are not ready." Theodore Roosevelt. As a child, he was weak in body and often sick. He was timid, sheltered, and fragile, but he made a decision not once, but daily to transform himself. He subjected himself to rigorous physical training, to public service, to the trials of leadership. Every act of courage, every deliberate choice to step into discomfort forged a new layer of confidence within him. He did not wait to become confident before taking action. He took action, and from it, confidence was born. You too have the same power. Imagine confidence as a wellspring. Each fearless decision is a drop. Each challenge embraced is a stream. Every time you speak up when it would be easier to stay silent, every time you take the first step without knowing the second, you add to your reservoir of self-assurance. Eventually, that reservoir overflows. You begin to walk differently, speak with clarity, decide without hesitation. Not because fear has vanished, but because you have risen. Confidence is not a destination. It is a practice. It is built in the moments when you could shrink, but instead you stand tall. It is built when you feel vulnerable, yet you press forward anyway. It is built when you challenge the belief that you are not enough. Every great leader, every man who has accomplished something meaningful, began with a single act of faith in himself. That act led to another, and another, until belief became their nature. If you wait to feel ready, you will wait forever. The only way to become ready is to be. Confidence grows through exposure to challenge. Just as a muscle tears and rebuilds stronger, so too does your self-belief. The more you stretch your limits, the greater your capacity becomes. The more you act in alignment with your purpose, the more certain you grow of your path. These are not random actions. These are reps. These are the heavy lifts of personal growth. And with each one, you become stronger. And here lies the true beauty. Confidence compounds. Small victories today become the foundation for bigger victories tomorrow. One courageous moment plants the seed for a confident identity. And soon, that identity becomes who you are. Not by chance, but by design. The man who takes consistent action in the face of fear becomes unstoppable. His self-trust is not built on fantasy, but on evidence. He has faced difficulty, and he has prevailed. He has moved without certainty, and still found ground beneath his feet. He no longer needs applause. He does not wait for validation. He knows you can become that man. But it will not happen through thought alone. Confidence is not a theory. It is an experience. You must live it, practice it, earn it. Every day you are presented with two choices: shrink back into comfort or step forward into growth. And every day you choose growth, you expand your potential. You must act as if it is already within you, because it is. You must walk with the conviction of someone who knows that confidence is built, not bestowed. So start now. Start small, if you must. But start, because with every courageous step you take, you build momentum. And with enough momentum, nothing can stop you. Confidence is not something you wait for, it is something you create. And once you build it, you will walk into every room, every challenge, every dream, knowing without question, I belong here. It ensures lasting success. There is a kind of success that flickers like a candle, bright for a moment, then gone with the wind. But true success, the kind that endures, that spans decades and generations, is never built on fleeting emotions or momentary luck. It is built on a foundation of fearless action, resilient character, and relentless growth. Understand this. The success that lasts is not accidental. It is engineered. It is the result of consistent, courageous choices made over time. It is not about achieving one. It is about becoming someone who achieves consistently because of who they are, what they believe, and how they act under pressure. Cornelius Vanderbilt began his empire not with wealth, not with connections, but with a single ferry boat. A small operation, modest in scale, humble in appearance. But behind that humble start was a spirit unwilling to be confined. Mr. Vanderbilt saw opportunity where others saw risk. He pursued each chance with unshakable resolve and fearless decision-making. He expanded, reinvested, and dared to go where others hesitated. Over time, that small ferry operation grew into a shipping and railroad empire that would redefine American industry. His wealth became immense, yes, but more importantly, it endured, because it was rooted in fearless vision and daily deliberate action. You must understand, temporary success can come to anyone, but enduring greatness is reserved for those who are willing to confront their fears daily. Fear has many forms. It may disguise itself as caution. It may appear as hesitation or wear the mask of logic. But its goal is always the same, to stop you from moving forward. The man who achieves long-term success does not eliminate fear. He learns to act in spite of it. He sees that every moment of hesitation is a moment lost. Every delay is a step backward. So he chooses action. He chooses courage, again and again. Real success, the kind that cannot be shaken by market crashes, criticism, or chaos, requires a solid core. And that core is built from three principles. 1. Fearless commitment. 2. Consistent action. 3. Persistent courage. Fearless commitment means you are all in, not when it's easy, not only when the odds are favorable, but especially when the terrain is uncertain. You are not flirting with success. You are married to it. You show up for it every day. Consistent action means doing the work when no one is watching. It means taking bold steps, not just once in a while, but every single day. The man who acts boldly once may taste victory, but the man who acts boldly daily builds an empire. Persistent courage means you do not quit when you fall. You do not crumble when you face resistance. You take every failure as fuel, every setback as a signal to grow stronger, not weaker. If you want success that lasts, you must stop chasing shortcuts. You must stop seeking applause. You must stop waiting to feel ready. Instead, build your success on solid ground. Face your fears every day. Speak when it's uncomfortable. Take the step no one else dares to take. Say yes to the opportunities that scare you. Lean into the challenges that others avoid. This is how enduring success is born. It does not come in a single day. It comes from thousands of courageous days stacked on top of one another. Each one may seem small, even invisible to the outside world, but you will know. You will feel the shift. You will see the momentum build. And eventually others will see it too, not just in what you have achieved, but in who you have become. The world rewards those who persist with purpose. It honors those who rise after every fall. It celebrates those who do the hard thing, not once but as a way of life. So do not settle for temporary glory. Do not be content with a flash of brilliance. Aim for a legacy. Let your success be a monument to fearless living. Let your journey be a masterclass in unshakable resolve. because when your actions are fearless, your success is timeless. Optimism fuels courage. If courage is the engine of fearless living, then optimism is the fuel. It is the spark that lights the fire within, the unseen force that lifts you when the weight of the world threatens to hold you down. It is not just a pleasant attitude or a feel-good mindset. It is a powerful strategic weapon for those who intend to conquer fear and rise to greatness. Understand this. Optimism is not the denial of difficulty. It is the decision to believe in possibility even while walking through the fire. It is the unshakable choice to see beyond the immediate obstacle and into the opportunity it hides. Benjamin Franklin, a man who faced hardship, failure, and ridicule. He was born into modest means, had limited formal education, and encountered countless setbacks in both science and politics. Yet he never sank into despair. Why? Because he chose optimism. He used every obstacle as a stepping stone. Every rejection became redirection. His positive outlook gave him the courage to persist where others gave up. Through optimistic resilience, Franklin became a statesman, inventor, philosopher, and one of the founding architects of a nation. His achievements were not just products of intelligence or talent. They were born from a belief that something better was always within reach. You must adopt the same approach. Fear thrives in negativity. It feeds on worst-case scenarios, on imagined failures, on the belief that success is unlikely. But when you choose optimism, you cut off its supply. You rob fear of its momentum. An optimistic man sees challenges not as signs to retreat, but as signals to rise. He believes there is always a way forward. He walks into storms not because he is blind to the danger, but because he knows the sun still shines behind the clouds. Optimism gives you energy, and energy sustains motion. Without optimism, courage becomes exhausting. You may start strong, but without a hopeful vision, your strength withers. But when you feed your mind with possibility, when you focus on progress over perfection, you build the endurance necessary for long-term victory. Think of it this way. Every goal requires a journey, and every journey encounters storms. If your mind is filled with dread, you will hesitate at every crack of thunder. But if your heart is anchored in hope, you will press on, even when the path is unclear. This is not fantasy. It is strategy. Optimism is not the avoidance of reality. It is the mastery of it. It says, yes, the situation is hard, but I am harder. Yes, the path is steep, but I am climbing. Yes, the odds are long, but I am longer-willed. Optimism is a choice, one you must make daily. It is forged by what you consume, how you speak, who you surround yourself with, and what thoughts you entertain. Feed your mind with uplifting truths. Speak possibility over limitation. Align with those who challenge and uplift you, and guard your mental gates with vigilance. Every act of optimism is an act of war against fear. So what does this look like in practice? It means saying, I will find a way, even when others say it's impossible. It means seeing failure as information, not defeat. It means expecting progress from your efforts, even if the results take time. It means standing tall when others retreat. And most of all, it means believing that what lies ahead is better than what lies behind, that your best work is yet to come, that you are made for more. Optimism gives your courage a reason to keep going. It transforms your outlook, strengthens your resolve, and sharpens your focus. You were not born to be overwhelmed. You were born to rise. The man who lives with optimism is not just more cheerful, he is more dangerous to fear, because he cannot be broken by hardship. He cannot be silenced by failure. He cannot be stopped by delay. He sees the mountain and climbs it anyway. Let that man be you. Choose optimism not as a feeling, but as a discipline. Train your eyes to seek the good. Train your mind to expect strength. Train your heart to believe. And with that belief, you will become unstoppable. Because optimism is not weakness, it is fuel. And with it, your fearless living will know no bounds. Your future depends on it. There is a truth so powerful it can alter the course of your entire life. Your future success hinges entirely on your willingness to act without fear. Success is not something that awaits you in the distance. It is not a far-off destination to be stumbled upon by luck. It is something you build day by day, choice by choice, action by action. And the raw material of that construction is fearlessness. The life you want, the man you wish to become, he is not hidden in the years ahead. He is sculpted right here in this very moment by what you choose to do. Decide clearly who you wish to become. Define him in vivid detail. See his habits, his standards, his strength, his discipline, his purpose. Once that vision is clear, you must do the one thing most people avoid. Move toward it without fear. Do not wait until you feel ready. Do not wait until the fear vanishes. The fear will always be present, but it is not your master. It is your test. Every great figure in history, every monumental achievement that has ever come to pass, began with a single fearless decision. A moment when someone chose action over hesitation, purpose over fear. Fearless decisions are the birthplace of destiny. You must understand, your future is not something that happens to you. It is something you create, and it is created in this moment, the present. What you do today shapes what becomes possible tomorrow. What you think, how you act, what you say, and what you refuse to delay, these are the building blocks of greatness. Most people will never realize this. They will drift. They will wait for the perfect moment. They will let fear have the final say, and in doing so, they surrender their future to chance. But you are not most people. You have seen the truth, and with truth comes responsibility. You know now that every moment is a fork in the road, a chance to either lean into courage or retreat into comfort. Your destiny is not in the stars, it is in your choices. Each time you choose to act boldly, to move with purpose, to speak your truth, you align your life with greatness. Each time you resist delay, confront your fear, and take the step that scares you, you create a future you can be proud of. The extraordinary life you desire is not reserved for the lucky or the gifted. It is reserved for the brave. So begin today. Take that courageous first step. Start the business. Initiate the conversation. Speak the idea. Change the habit. Break the pattern. Do not look around for permission. Do not wait for validation. Look within and move. You are the architect of your fate, and the tools are already in your hands. Fear will always knock, but greatness answers first. Let your decisions today reflect the man you are becoming. Let your actions declare, I am ready, I am worthy, I am willing. Because the future you dream of is not far off. It is one fearless step away. Embrace fearlessness with your whole heart. Make it your standard. Let it echo in every area of your life, your work, your relationships, your purpose, your vision. And in doing so, watch your life begin to reflect not just progress, but power, not just success, but significance. You deserve the extraordinary, but you must claim it. And the only way to claim it is to act without fear, starting now. Embrace fearlessness and watch your dreams unfold into reality. Act now. Your limitless future awaits. Why hard things matter. I have long observed that success in its truest and most enduring form rarely announces itself with a trumpet sound. Rather, it hides. It hides behind obstacles, behind struggles that test the soul, and behind the kind of difficulty that breaks lesser men. And yet, to those who persist, to those who dare to step boldly into the fire of hardship, success reveals itself not as a gift, but as a reward earned in the crucible of adversity. Consider the blacksmith at his forge. He takes a raw, unrefined piece of iron, useless in its current state, and places it upon the anvil. With each swing of his hammer, the metal groans. It resists, but slowly, surely, it begins to take shape. It becomes something stronger, sharper, more precise, a mighty sword, and so it is with the human spirit. Each challenge you face, each setback that tests your will, is the hammer striking your soul, shaping it into a weapon worthy of great purpose. Do not mistake this process as punishment. On the contrary, it is preparation. Life does not test the weak to destroy them. It tests the worthy to strengthen them. Every hardship you confront willingly adds another layer to your internal fortitude. Every difficulty overcome etches a deeper groove of perseverance into your mind, revealing powers you never knew you possessed. When you avoid hardship, you postpone your greatness. You delay the lessons that only suffering can teach, the discipline to keep going when the odds are against you, the courage to stand tall when fear demands you retreat, and the wisdom to endure when all seems lost. I say to you now, do not wish for an easy path. Wish instead for the strength to face the difficult one. Success is not found in comfort. Comfort is temporary. Growth, however, is eternal. And growth lives where comfort dies, on the edge of fear, in the midst of struggle, in the furnace of failure and determination. Choose your trials deliberately. Take on hard tasks, not because they are glamorous, but because they are necessary. Every time you conquer a challenge, you are not merely solving a problem, you are building the very character that will one day sustain your success. The journey to your dreams will never be paved with ease. It will be lined with adversity, with detours and delays, with rejection and ridicule. But these are not signs of defeat. They are signposts of progress. Every struggle adds another layer of armor to your character. Every battle fought and won becomes a page in the story of your ultimate triumph. So I implore you, do not shrink from hardship. Embrace it, invite it, for within its painful lessons lies the raw material of your future greatness. Your success is not out there in the distance waiting to find you. It is hiding behind your willingness to fight for it. To power up discipline. If success hides behind challenges, then discipline is the key that unlocks the door. It is the bridge, the sacred link between your dreams and their realization. Without it, ambition remains fantasy. With it, even the most impossible goals become attainable. Jim Thorpe, a man whose name is etched in the annals of history not by accident, but by unrelenting commitment. His legendary achievements did not come from talent alone. They were born from consistent practice, from rising before the sun while others slept, from saying no to temptations that derail the undisciplined. It was discipline that transformed Jim Thorpe from a mere athlete into an immortal icon. Discipline demands sacrifice. It is not a gentle teacher. It is rigorous, unwavering, and often uncomfortable. It will ask you to work when others rest. It will require you to turn away from distractions, to silence the noise of easy pleasures, and to master the art of focus. But I tell you with conviction, the discomfort is temporary while the rewards are timeless. Those who possess discipline wield a silent power. It sharpens your abilities and strengthens your resolve. It turns hesitation into decisiveness and turns average performance into excellence. Confidence is not found. It is built one disciplined act at a time. And when you practice discipline day after day, it becomes your nature, your silent armor against chaos and drift. The greatest achievers I have ever studied, Carnegie, Ford, Edison, all credited their victories to this sacred force. Not wealth, not connections, but discipline. It was their secret weapon, their compass in times of uncertainty, their fuel when energy waned. It was discipline that kept them going when others gave up, and it was discipline that allowed them to seize opportunity when it not. Discipline prepares you for the moment when fate offers its hand. And when that moment comes, as it always does, you will not fumble. You will not hesitate. You will be ready, because you have trained, prepared, and persevered. I urge you to embrace discipline not as a punishment, but as a path. Let it be your daily companion. Let it guide your choices, govern your time, and mold your habit. For when effort is made consistently, success becomes not a matter of chance, but a mathematical certainty. Understand this. Dreams without discipline are like castles built in the air, beautiful but fleeting. But dreams pursued with daily effort, fortified by the strength of discipline, are built to last. They take root in reality and flourish. So commit. Wake early. Work relentlessly. Sharpen your focus. Say no to what does not serve you. In doing so, you will not just chase your dreams, you will catch them. Discipline is not a burden. It is a blessing in disguise, and when embraced fully, it makes the impossible inevitable. 3. To facing your fear, there is a silent force that holds more dreams hostage than failure ever could. It is not lack of skill, nor absence of opportunity. It is fear, unseen, unspoken, yet undeniably powerful. But let me tell you this, fear loses its grip the moment you confront it directly. The longer you wait, the larger it grows. But when you face it, you shrink its shadow and reclaim your power. Jesse Owens did not merely compete in the Olympic Games, he defied the crushing weight of societal prejudice, political tension, and the burden of expectation. His battle was not just against other athletes. It was against the fear that he, a black man in Nazi Germany, would be silenced, diminished, overlooked. And yet, he faced that fear not with trembling knees, but with powerful strides. He ran straight through fear and into history. He showed us all that courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to act in spite of it. You, too, carry within you the strength to overcome, but that strength will never be discovered in comfort. It is only unearthed when you stand eye to eye with what scares you most. Fear thrives in the shadows of avoidance. It feeds on hesitation. But the moment you step forward, when you take action, you sever its lifeline. Every fear you conquer builds your confidence. It becomes proof, undeniable and personal, that you are stronger than the illusion that once held you back. Each act of bravery, no matter how small, becomes a brick in the foundation of unshakable self-belief. With each fear you face, you reclaim a part of yourself you once surrendered. The greatest opportunities in life do not lie on easy paths. They lie behind locked doors, and fear holds the key. But here's the secret: that key melts when you act. Your boldness dissolves its power. On the other side of fear is not danger. It is discovery. Discovery of your hidden abilities. Discovery of courage you didn't know you had. Discovery of a life lived on your terms, not dictated by doubt. When fear shows its face, choose decisiveness over delay. Choose movement over paralysis. Choose you, the bold, authentic version of yourself, over the one that shrinks to stay safe. You were not born to live small. You were born to rise, to lead, to create, and to inspire. Remember, the mind that masters fear masters life itself. You cannot wait for fear to disappear. It never does. But what does disappear is its power over you once you step forward. You do not need to eliminate fear to act. You need only act, and fear begins to fall away. Mastering fear is not a one-time act. It is a daily choice, a commitment to move forward despite uncertainty. And with each courageous decision, you unlock a new level of life, of potential, of success. So face your fears, not because it is easy, but because it is necessary. Take that step, and then another. Watch as your life begins to transform before your very eyes. The person you wish to become is waiting on the other side. Your destiny is not beyond your fear, it lies through it. 4. To commit your goals. Achievement is not born from mere wishful thinking. It is forged in the fires of relentless commitment. Your commitment is the engine, unyielding and powerful, that drives you forward when inspiration fades, when motivation wavers, and when the path becomes steep. Without commitment, the grandest dreams remain idle thoughts. With it, the impossible becomes inevitable. George Washington Carver did not simply contribute to agriculture, he revolutionized it. But his breakthroughs were not miracles. They were the fruits of steady, disciplined, focused commitment. Day after day, year after year, Carver remained devoted to his purpose. Despite limited resources and constant adversity, his unwavering dedication unlocked secrets hidden in the soil and transformed the lives of countless farmers. He did not stop when things got hard. He pressed forward because his commitment was stronger than any obstacle. So I ask you, what are you committed to? Not interested in, not dabbling with, but deeply, irrevocably committed to. When you choose a goal and bind yourself to it with resolve, the universe responds in kind. Clearly defined goals, powered by unwavering determination, become unstoppable forces. Commitment begins with clarity. You must know what you want. Vague dreams will not do. You must see your objective so vividly that it burns into your mind. When you have clarity, commitment becomes possible. And when you pair that clarity with persistence, you become a force to be reckoned with. Obstacles will arise. Count on it. But with commitment, you do not waver. You do not stop to consider quitting. You keep moving. You adjust. You endure. You rise again. For commitment is not measured by convenience. It is measured by consistency. It is shown not in the ease of the beginning, but in the resilience through the storm. Your commitment anchors your intentions. It gives weight to your dreams and direction to your actions. It enables you to withstand setbacks, to maintain progress, and to silence the voice that says, give up. With each day of focused effort, you transform your vision into reality, not all at once, but piece by piece, moment by moment. Commitment is the quiet strength behind every great achievement. It separates those who merely wish from those who do. It is what drives you to continue long after others have stopped. When you align your daily habits with your long-term vision, when you live your commitment, you build momentum that no external force can shake. Let there be no confusion. Success does not require perfection, but it does require persistence. When your dreams are backed by unwavering commitment, they gain weight, substance, and velocity. You will stumble, yes, but you will not stop, because commitment pulls you forward when willpower fades. So make the choice. Define your goal, anchor it in your heart, and commit not for a day or a week, but until the work is done, until the dream is real. When you move with commitment, you do more than chase success. You guarantee. 5. To believe in yourself. Every great achievement begins with a simple yet profound truth. You must believe in yourself before the world ever will. Self-belief is the spark that ignites your journey. It is the silent force behind every bold decision, every daring move, every relentless pursuit of a dream. Without belief in your own potential, even the smallest obstacle becomes a mountain. But with belief, even the greatest odds can be conquered. The Wright brothers, two men with no formal engineering training, no backing from powerful institutions, and no blueprint for flight. All they had was an unshakable belief that man could soar through the skies. The world mocked them, experts doubted them, but they believed. They trusted their vision. They trusted their instincts. And because of that belief, they did not stop. They persisted, and they flew. They turned what others called madness into a miracle. Doubt is the great paralyzer. It whispers of failure, warns of risk, and urges retreat. But belief, real, rooted belief, empowers. It gives you the courage to move, to act, to create. It transforms hesitation into momentum. When you trust your own abilities, when you recognize the vast potential within you, you begin to shape your reality rather than react to it. You must understand this. Your mindset is the architect of your life. If you believe you can, you awaken possibility. If you believe you are worthy, you begin attracting opportunities. Success does not come to the most talented. It comes to those who believe they can succeed and are willing to act on that belief. Every setback you face, every failure you endure, is merely a test, not of your ability, but of your belief. Will you shrink or will you rise? Self-belief does not mean arrogance. It means knowing deep in your core that you are capable, that you have what it takes, and more. It means carrying your vision forward even when the road is unclear. When you believe in yourself, you take bold action. You no longer wait for perfect conditions or universal approval. You move. You trust your instincts. You pursue your dreams with a fire that cannot be extinguished by external doubt. That kind of confidence does not repel others. It attracts them. It draws opportunity, invites collaboration, and creates momentum. But belief must be nurtured. Strengthen it daily. Speak life into your goals. Remind yourself of your strengths. Reflect on past victories, however small. Surround yourself with those who uplift, not those who diminish. Feed your belief, for it is the cornerstone of all achievement. You already possess the talents, the intelligence, the courage you need. You don't lack resources. You simply need to access them through belief. When you begin to see yourself as powerful, resourceful, and capable, your world changes. So I say to you, believe wholeheartedly, unshakably, and daily. Believe even when others don't. Believe even when the path is dark. For the power you seek lies not in the world around you, but within you. Your belief is your strength. Your belief is your foundation. And with it, greatness will not just be possible, it will be inevitable. 6. To create consistency. Greatness is not forged in a single act. It is built one step at a time through quiet, relentless repetition. If you wish to rise, to lead, to master your craft, and command success, you must understand the one truth that separates the exceptional from the ordinary. Consistent effort leads to mastery. Babe Ruth, a man who did not stumble upon greatness but earned it through tireless, focused practice. He wasn't born a legend. He became one. Through years of repeated swings, missed pitches, bruised hands, and early mornings, his name lives on not because of a single home run, but because of thousands of hours poured into perfecting his swing. It was consistency, not luck, that carved his name into the stone of history. You see, mastery does not happen by accident. True success is the reward of persistent, deliberate practice. When you show up every day, when you give effort consistently, you are not merely doing the work, you are becoming the work. Each moment compounds. Each repetition sharpens your skill. Each day builds upon the last, transforming ordinary efforts into extraordinary outcomes. Too often people chase intensity. They pour all their energy into one great push, only to fall back into inertia. But your future will not be defined by occasional sprints. It will be shaped by your willingness to walk steadily forward every day. Your daily commitment is more powerful than any burst of enthusiasm, because consistency does what intensity never can. It builds habits, it builds character, and it builds results. Excellence is not born in sudden breakthroughs. It is forged in slow, patient refinement. Like the sculptor who chips away at stone one careful stroke at a time, you must show up again and again with intention and effort. It is in the daily showing up that you discover resilience. It is in the daily striving that you develop discipline, and over time those habits mold you into someone capable of greatness. Do not underestimate the power of steady habits. They are the foundation beneath every towering achievement. When you build routines around your purpose, mastery becomes not just possible, it becomes inevitable. You will find that consistency trains not only your hands, but your mind. It strengthens your resolve and prepares you to seize the moment when opportunity arrives. Every step forward brings more than progress. It brings clarity. It brings strength. It brings refinement. The path becomes clearer not when you wait for answers, but when you move with faith and persistence. It is through the doing that understanding comes. So I urge you, embrace consistency. Make it your ally. Make it your identity. Do not look for shortcuts, for they rob you of strength. Instead, commit to the long road, the one paved with daily effort, fueled by quiet determination. In the end, consistency is the hidden power behind monumental achievements. It transforms average actions into masterpieces. It shapes futures. It builds legacies. And when you walk in consistency, when you give your best day after day, your success becomes not just likely, it becomes unstoppable. 7. To adaptable adversity. There is a truth that wise men embrace, yet many ignore. The path to success is never straight. It twists, turns, and changes form without warning. And in such a world, your greatest ally is not brute strength or rigid planning. It is adaptability. Those who learn to bend without breaking, who shift with grace rather than stubbornness, are the ones who endure and rise. Booker T. Washington stands as a shining testament to this truth. Born into slavery, he did not begin life with privilege, resources, or opportunity. Yet through adaptability, he transformed adversity into advancement. He read the terrain of change and adjusted his steps accordingly. He met resistance not with defiance, but with strategic redirection. In doing so, he became not only an educator and reformer, but one of the most influential voices of his generation. He did not fight change, he flowed with it, and in doing so, led it. So let me ask you, when change comes, and it will, do you resist or do you adjust? Success does not go to the most rigid, but to the most flexible. Like bamboo in a storm, you must be willing to sway. Flexibility does not mean weakness. It means strength of a higher kind, the kind that endures where others snap. Adaptability allows you to face the unforeseen with calm confidence. It empowers resilience. When plans fail, and they often do, the adaptable mind finds a new route. The adaptable heart finds a new rhythm. Change is not your enemy. It is your training ground. It challenges your thinking, expands your creativity, and tests your resolve. To resist change is to resist life itself. Circumstances will shift. Markets will change. People will evolve. If you cling to the old, the familiar, the comfortable, you will be left behind. But if you embrace change, learn from it, and adjust with it, you become stronger. You begin to see obstacles not as threats, but as invitations to grow. Those who thrive are not the ones who always had perfect plans. They are the ones who learned how to pivot. They are the ones who stayed open, stayed curious, stayed willing to redefine their approach. Adaptability is not passive surrender. It is active mastery of movement. And let us be clear, adaptability fuels innovation. It awakens resourcefulness. When you open yourself to new strategies, new tools, and new perspectives, you increase your chances of success tenfold. You become more than a survivor, you become a creator of new outcomes. Make adaptability your daily practice. When you meet resistance, adjust your stride. When you face a setback, explore new solutions. When the environment shifts, let your thinking evolve. And do it with confidence, not fear. For every change contains the seed of a greater breakthrough. In the end, adaptability is not just a survival skill, it is a success multiplier. It prepares you to thrive in any climate, under any condition. The one who adapts, advances. So I say to you, embrace change. Cultivate flexibility. Let adversity become your ally, and let adaptability lead you forward. When you live this way, no storm can uproot you. You will bend, but you will never break. 8. To master your mindset. The thoughts you permit to take root in your mind shape the very course of your life. Your mindset defines your trajectory. A positive mental attitude is not merely a preference. It is your strongest ally on the road to success. The difference between mediocrity and greatness lies not in circumstance, but in perception, in how you think. Andrew Carnegie, a man born into poverty, who rose to become one of the wealthiest and most influential industrialists the world has ever known. What was the source of his transformation? It began not with money, but with belief. Mr. Carnegie understood the sacred truth that your thoughts are the architects of your destiny. He practiced mental discipline, guarding his mind from doubt and defeat, and filling it with purpose, vision, and unwavering confidence. And through that positive mental attitude, he magnetized success to himself. You must come to understand deeply that your inner world governs your outer reality. A negative mindset shrinks your possibilities. It clouds your judgment, dampens your enthusiasm, and repels opportunity. It locks doors to futures you haven't yet imagined. But a positive, empowered mind, it opens those doors. It invites solutions. It draws people and possibilities toward you like a magnet. Your thoughts are not passive, they are seeds. Each one grows into an action, which becomes a habit, which shapes your results. So if you wish to change your life, you must begin by changing your thinking. Be vigilant over your mindset. Monitor your thoughts with the same precision you would guard a treasure. When doubt creeps in, challenge it. When fear whispers, respond with faith. Choose thoughts that empower rather than defeat. Every moment presents you with a choice to think constructively or destructively, to believe in your limitations or your limitless potential. Cultivate a mindset of gratitude. Let optimism be your default setting. Look not at what is missing, but at what is possible. See every setback as temporary, every failure as a lesson, and every challenge as an invitation to grow. When you train your mind to seek the good, to expect the best, and to believe in your ability to overcome, you arm yourself with the most powerful tool of all, resilient belief. External conditions will shift, sometimes drastically, but no condition holds power over you greater than your own attitude. The moment you master your mindset, you seize control of your direction. You begin to shape your future not by chance, but by conscious design. So take command. Be deliberate with your thoughts. Train your emotions, choose your reactions. Do not let outside forces dictate your inner world. Instead, let your inner world lead your life. The right mental attitude will reveal pathways that were previously hidden. It will uncover strength you didn't know you possessed. It will transform trials into triumphs and detours into breakthroughs. You are not at the mercy of circumstance. You are the master of your mindset, and in that mastery lies the foundation of all lasting success. So choose well, choose belief, choose empowerment, choose a mindset that builds the future you desire, for your thoughts are the steering wheel of your destiny, and you, my friend, are firmly in the driver's seat. 9. To cultivate patience and persistence. There is a quiet power, often overlooked, yet undeniably essential to lasting success. It is not found in quick wins or sudden breakthroughs. It resides in the union of two enduring virtues, patience and persistence. Together, they form an unstoppable force capable of breaking through the toughest barriers and transforming distant dreams into tangible realities. Marie Curie, a woman who, through tireless research and unshakable resolve, unveiled discoveries that changed the course of science. Her path was not easy. She faced rejection, ridicule, and relentless obstacles. Yet she pressed forward. Her breakthroughs did not come in moments of genius, but through years of persistent effort and patient trial. She remained focused, composed, and faithful to her vision. In time, the world caught up to her genius. She did not rush the process, she trusted it, and so must you. Impatience is the enemy of achievement. It whispers that the journey is too long, the rewards too distant. It tempts you to quit just before the breakthrough arrives. But real, meaningful success does not unfold on demand. It unfolds through time, through deliberate cultivation, through steady, focused effort. You must realize deeply every worthwhile endeavor demands both time and toil. There are no shortcuts to greatness. It is not enough to begin. You must continue. You must remain on the path even when results are slow, even when progress is invisible, even when others lose faith. Because persistence is not about speed, it is about endurance. Setbacks will come, delays are inevitable, but persistence equips you to withstand them. It strengthens your resolve. It reminds you why you began. It whispers, keep going, when everything else says stop. Persistence builds momentum, and that momentum, slow at first, begins to carry you forward with increasing speed and strength. But momentum alone is not enough. It must be guided by patience. Patience calms your spirit. It gives you perspective. It allows you to nurture your vision without rushing its unfolding. Like a gardener tending to seeds, you must care for your goals day after day, trusting that the harvest will come. Together, patience and persistence form a partnership that few obstacles can withstand. Where one gives you the endurance to keep moving, the other grants you the wisdom to wait. This balance is the foundation of long-term triumph. Refuse the temptations of impatience and impulsiveness. Do not measure your progress by immediate results. Measure it by your continued commitment, by your refusal to give up, Believe in your path. Stay faithful to your course. Understand that slow progress is still progress. Every persistent step you take is laying the foundation for eventual victory. When you cultivate patience, you deepen your resilience. When you persist, you build your power. And when you unite both, you create a force that no barrier can withstand. So remain steady. Walk forward each day with faith and focus. For it is not the swift but the steadfast who reach the summit. And when you master patience and persistence, you become the sculptor of your destiny, shaping your future with every determined step you take. 10. To commit continuous learning. Commitment to learning ensures sustained personal growth and long-term success. Observe Booker T. Washington, whose relentless pursuit of knowledge lifted him from hardship to historic leadership and profound influence. Knowledge acquired today multiplies your value tomorrow, making continuous learning non-negotiable. Embrace every experience, every challenge, and every interaction as a learning opportunity. Success requires constant adaptation, innovation, and improvement, achievable only through dedicated ongoing education. Seek daily opportunities to expand your mind and abilities, building a repertoire of invaluable skills and insights. Learning fuels curiosity, enhances creativity, and maintains relevance in an ever-changing world. Those who commit passionately to lifelong learning possess a distinct competitive edge, consistently equipped to overcome new challenges. The future belongs unquestionably to learners, individuals who willingly adapt, evolve, and enhance their capabilities constantly. Recognize clearly that every hour invested in learning yields exponential returns, paving the path toward lasting excellence and achievement. Dedicate yourself to continuous learning passionately, knowing it is the surest investment toward personal growth and sustained success. 11. To taking initiative. Initiative distinguishes achievers from dreamers, transforming opportunities into tangible results. Theodore Roosevelt, who proactively seized opportunities, displaying boldness and initiative to shape his legacy. Opportunities frequently favor the bold, individuals who courageously initiate actions, refusing passivity and hesitation. Initiative demands decisive, swift action, empowering you to control your circumstances rather than allowing circumstances to control you. Waiting indefinitely for perfect conditions achieves nothing. Action alone transforms intentions into reality. Each proactive step positions you ahead of others who hesitate or delay, ensuring steady progress. Initiative cultivates leadership, confidence, and a proactive mindset, critical qualities for sustained success. Embrace initiative daily. Each deliberate action strengthens your resolve, builds momentum, and accelerates achievement. Understand clearly that every successful endeavor began with a single courageous step initiated by bold action rather than cautious delay. Actively seek opportunities, proactively create favorable conditions, and consistently take initiative. This empowered mindset guarantees substantial progress, ensuring you control your destiny completely. Every great journey begins with your immediate decision to take action today. Think carefully about Wilbur Wright, whose decision to pursue his dreams began with an immediate step forward. Delaying action postpones achievement indefinitely. Success rewards those who start immediately, unafraid of imperfection. Recognize clearly that your dreams demand action today, not someday in the future. Time waits for no one. Every day wasted diminishes your opportunities. Taking action creates momentum, rapidly transforming your intentions into tangible achievement. Remember, clarity emerges from engagement, not contemplation alone. Embark bravely, knowing clearly that each step forward builds confidence, clarity, and competence. Embrace today's moment enthusiastically. Start small if necessary, but start immediately. The right moment is always now, requiring your decisive commitment and immediate action. Recognize deeply that your life's greatest achievements await your willingness to start, beginning your magnificent journey this very instant. Choose action courageously, understanding your journey toward personal excellence, fulfillment, and success begins powerfully and purposefully now. Now is your time. Seize this moment, embrace hard things courageously, and build the extraordinary life you deserve. They insult you. They lie about you. They betray you when you needed them most. And yet you do not flinch. You do not explode. You do not react. Because your mind is trained. A trained mind doesn't chase every thought. It doesn't drown in chaos. It watches. It waits. In a world that wants to provoke you, the calmest man is the most dangerous. This isn't weakness. This is control. power, precision. When emotions rise and the storm begins, will you be the one who panics or the one who becomes the storm's eye? Train your mind. Rule your world. In just a few moments, you'll learn the secret to training your mind to stay calm in any situation, no matter what. 1. It develops mental mastery. The greatest battlefield you will ever face is not in the world around you, but in the silent chambers of your own mind. When you learn to control your thoughts, you gain the master key to controlling your life. You see, there exists within you a power greater than any obstacle the world can place in your path. It is your ability to remain calm when everything around you is in chaos. The most successful individuals throughout history understood this profound truth. Thomas Edison, who faced over 10,000 failures before creating the electric light bulb, when his laboratory burned to the ground, destroying years of research and irreplaceable notes, what did he do? At age 67, watching his life's work go up in flames, he simply turned to his son and said, "Go get your mother. She'll never see anything like this again." The next morning, surveying the ruins, he declared, "There is great value in disaster. All our mistakes are burned up. Thank God we can start anew." This is the power you possess right now, the ability to face any disaster with a calm mind. When you maintain your mental equilibrium, you see opportunities where others see only problems. Your mind becomes a sanctuary of clarity rather than a prison of panic. Remember, you are where you are because of your mental attitudes. Your circumstances do not determine your state of mind. Your state of mind determines your circumstances. This is the first principle you must embrace to develop unshakable calm in any situation. It develops controlled attention. When faced with overwhelming circumstances, you need a definite method to regain your composure quickly. I call this the principle of controlled attention, and it works because it redirects your mental focus from destructive to constructive thought. The moment you feel tension rising, stop whatever you're doing and implement this principle. First, recognize that your thoughts control your emotions, not the external circumstances. Take several deep breaths to break the pattern of negative thinking that leads to emotional disturbance. Second, ask yourself this pivotal question: what is the one constructive action within my power at this moment? This shifts your focus from the swirling chaos to your circle of influence. President Calvin Coolidge was renowned for his unflappable demeanor during crises that would have rattled most leaders. When asked about his extraordinary composure, he replied, "If you see 10 troubles coming down the road, you can be sure that 9 will run into the ditch before they reach you." He understood that most of what we worry about never materialize. The final step of applying this principle is to take one decisive action, no matter how small. When Andrew Carnegie faced potential financial ruin during the Panic of 1873, he didn't waste energy on worry. Instead, he focused on the single next step he could take. This principle of immediate action dissolves anxiety because it moves you from passive victim to active participant in your circumstances. Remember, your mind cannot simultaneously hold focused action and fearful thoughts. Choose action, and calm will follow naturally. 3. It helps in building your emotional fortress. Your emotional state is not at the mercy of external events. It is a fortress you build day by day, thought by thought. Just as a physical fortress isn't constructed in a moment of crisis but built methodically in times of peace, your emotional resilience must be developed through daily practice. You must understand that emotional mastery isn't about suppressing feelings but about choosing which emotions you will entertain and which you will dismiss. Helen Keller, who despite being deaf and blind from early childhood, developed such emotional fortitude that she graduated from college with honors and became an internationally recognized author and speaker. When asked about her remarkable achievements in the face of overwhelming obstacles, she said, "I long to accomplish great and noble tasks, but it is my chief duty to accomplish humble tasks as though they were great and noble." Her emotional fortress wasn't built in a single day, but through countless small choices to focus on possibility rather than limitation. You can begin building your emotional fortress today by establishing what I call a mental diet. Just as you would carefully select the food you put into your physical body, you must be vigilant about the thoughts you allow into your mind. Feed your mind stories of triumph over adversity, ideas that expand your sense of what's possible, and perspectives that emphasize solutions rather than problems. When you consistently practice this mental diet, you develop an inner stability that remains unshaken even when your outer world is in turmoil. The construction of your emotional fortress begins with the foundation stones of definite purpose. Every great achiever throughout history has possessed a burning desire that served as an anchor during turbulent times. What is your definite purpose? What goal or mission is so compelling that it can guide your thoughts when circumstances attempt to throw you off course? Without this foundation, your emotional fortress will crumble at the first sign of adversity. The walls of your fortress are built through the habit of controlled thought. This is not an ability you're born with, it is a skill you must practice daily. Begin each morning by determining your emotional intent for the day. Will you allow random circumstances to dictate your mental state, or will you consciously choose the thoughts that serve your highest good? This deliberate approach to your mental life builds emotional resilience over time, just as daily physical exercise builds physical strength. The windows of your fortress, your perspective on the world, must be kept clean and clear. Through what lens do you view your experiences? The great industrialist Charles M. Schwab maintained his composure during financial panics by asking himself, what opportunity lies hidden in this difficulty? This perspective allowed him to see possibilities where others saw only problems. Your own perspective is entirely within your control, regardless of external conditions. The gate of your fortress, what you allow to enter your mind, must be guarded with vigilance. The newspapers, books, conversations, and associations you choose will either strengthen or weaken your emotional state. Thomas Jefferson understood this principle when he wrote, "Nothing can now be believed which is seen in a newspaper." He chose carefully what information he would allow to influence his thinking. You must do the same, especially in moments when your emotional balance is threatened. Within the courtyard of your fortress lies the garden of gratitude. No emotion can survive in the presence of genuine thankfulness. Even in your darkest hour, there remains something for which you can be grateful. When Andrew Carnegie faced potential ruin, he focused not on what he stood to lose, but on what he still possessed: his knowledge, his relationships, and his capacity to begin again. This practice of gratitude becomes a cornerstone of emotional stability. The watchtower of your fortress provides vigilance against destructive thinking. From this vantage point, you must learn to recognize negative thought patterns before they take root. The moment you detect thoughts of worry, fear, or resentment, redirect your mental energy toward constructive alternatives. This is not mere positive thinking, it is strategic deployment of your most valuable resource, your attention. Remember that your emotional fortress is not built for isolation, but for strength. Its purpose is not to shut out the world, but to allow you to engage with life's challenges from a position of inner security. The true measure of your emotional mastery is not the absence of difficulties, but your capacity to remain calm and effective in their presence. Begin today to build your fortress, stone by stone, thought by thought, and you will develop a strength of character that no external circumstance can disturb. 4. It develops emotional support. The path to remarkable achievement and emotional equilibrium cannot be walked alone. Establishing a mastermind alliance, a collaborative circle of supportive individuals, serves as a foundation for personal development and maintaining composure during challenging periods. This strategy has been employed by countless successful figures throughout history, consisting of harmonious partnerships focused on attaining specific objectives, particularly building unwavering mental fortitude. Henry Ford, who, despite limited academic credentials, cultivated relationships with exceptional thinkers who enhanced his vision and helped preserve his determination through numerous obstacles. When automotive industry peers ridiculed his Model T concept, this network of encouraging minds helped sustain his resolve. Similarly, your resilience will strengthen dramatically when you thoughtfully select companions who contribute balance, insight, and fortitude to your journey. To establish your emotional support mastermind, begin by identifying at least 3 people who exemplify the mental discipline you wish to cultivate. Connect with them purposefully, requesting regular interaction aimed at collective growth. Practice transparency regarding both struggles and triumphs. Authentic connections forge stronger emotional capabilities, as meaningful relationships provide the environment where personal transformation flourishes. No significant historical accomplishment has emerged from complete isolation, and your quest for unshakable tranquility follows this same principle. The right alliance multiplies individual potential through shared wisdom, constructive feedback, and mutual encouragement. Members of your mastermind should possess diverse perspectives yet share fundamental values aligned with your aspirations. Seek those who demonstrate honesty without harsh judgment, offering careful insights when needed while celebrating progress. These relationships create safe spaces for vulnerability, allowing genuine exploration of challenges that might otherwise remain unaddressed. Regular meetings establish accountability and momentum. Whether weekly discussions, monthly reviews, or quarterly intensive sessions, consistency matters more than frequency. Structure these gatherings around specific topics, personal updates, and collaborative problem solving. This disciplined approach transforms casual friendships into purposeful growth partnerships. The most effective masterminds operate on principles of reciprocity. Each participant both contributes and receives value. As you share difficulties and breakthroughs, others gain perspective from your experiences. This exchange creates bonds strengthened through mutual investment in collective advancement. During particularly turbulent phases, your alliance provides crucial stability. They offer objective assessment when emotions cloud judgment, remind you of past triumphs when doubt emerges, and maintain unwavering belief in your capabilities when self-confidence wavers. Successful mastermind relationships evolve organically over time. Initial connections might focus on professional development before deepening into more comprehensive support systems addressing various life dimensions. Allow this natural progression rather than forcing immediate intimacy. Technology now enables global masterminds unrestricted by geography. Virtual meetings connect complementary minds across continents, expanding potential membership beyond local networks. However, regardless of format, the essential foundation remains trust, commitment, and shared purpose. The journey toward emotional mastery parallels any worthwhile endeavor, requiring deliberate practice, supportive community, and persistent effort. Your carefully cultivated alliance becomes both catalyst and companion throughout this process, accelerating progress while providing necessary encouragement during inevitable setbacks. Begin today by listing potential mastermind candidates, then initiate conversations about forming these intentional connections. The resulting partnerships may become among your most valuable assets in developing unshakable emotional equilibrium and achieving extraordinary success. It transforms your self-talk and reality. The most important conversations you have are not with others but with yourself. Your internal dialogue shapes your perception of reality more powerfully than any external voice. When faced with challenging circumstances, what do you say to yourself? Do you reinforce fear and doubt, or do you speak words of courage and possibility? This is not mere positive thinking. It is the strategic deployment of your most powerful mental resource. The quality of your life is determined not by what happens to you, but by how you interpret what happened. I have studied the minds of over 500 of the most successful individuals, and I can attest that their greatest accomplishment was mastering the conversation within. The thoughts you habitually entertain create the pathways through which all your future thoughts must travel. Theodore Roosevelt, who transformed himself from a sickly, asthmatic child into one of the most vigorous and resilient leaders in American history. How? By consciously reshaping his internal narrative. I am the captain of my soul, he would declare, even when his physical body seemed to contradict this assertion. His mind led and his circumstances followed. Your self-talk creates self-fulfilling prophecies. When you tell yourself this is overwhelming, your mind obediently produces overwhelming emotions. But when you declare, I have overcome challenges before and I will master this one as well, your mind begins generating solutions rather than stress. This principle operates with mathematical certainty. The subconscious mind accepts whatever the conscious mind repeatedly suggests. It makes no distinction between constructive and destructive thought impulses. It works day and night to bring into reality that which you most persistently think about. Herein lies both danger and opportunity. Begin today by auditing your habitual phrases. What do you say to yourself when plans go awry? Create replacement statements that acknowledge reality while emphasizing your capacity to respond effectively. Instead of I can't handle this, try this is difficult, but I'm taking it one step at a time. Instead of everything is falling apart, say I'm being challenged to find a new approach. I have observed that failure comes not from lack of ability, but from destructive mental habits that undermine potential. The mind that habitually dwells on limitation finds itself imprisoned by those very thoughts. Conversely, the mind that focuses on solutions will inevitably discover them. Your words become your reality because they direct your focus, and your focus determines your emotional state. Master your self-talk, and you master your capacity to remain calm regardless of circumstances. This emotional control is the hallmark of leadership and personal power. Remember that your subconscious takes your words literally. When you say I am tired, you become more tired. When you say I am energized by this challenge, your body responds accordingly. Choose your words with the same care a pharmacist uses when filling prescriptions, for they have similar potency. The greatest discovery of my research is this: you can alter the course of your life by altering your habitual thoughts and speech pattern. This power is immediately available to you, requiring no external permission or resources. It is the one true democracy. Every mind has equal opportunity to create its dominant thoughts. Begin this practice today and observe the transformation. Your circumstances may not change immediately, but your experience of them will shift dramatically. In time, even the most stubborn external conditions must reshape themselves to match your persistent internal dialogue. Master your thoughts, master your words, and you master your destiny. It develops your deliberate response method. Between stimulus and response lies a space. In that space is your power to choose your reaction. In your choice lies your growth and freedom. While most people react automatically to challenging situations, allowing their primitive brain to hijack their higher faculties, you can train yourself to respond deliberately rather than react impulsively. This distinction between reaction and response marks the difference between those who are controlled by circumstances and those who maintain their composure regardless of external conditions. Abraham Lincoln, who was known for writing hot letters when provoked by incompetence or betrayal, he would express his anger fully in writing and then put the letter in a drawer drawer, never to be sent. When asked about this curious habit, he explained that the process allowed him to discharge the emotional energy without creating consequences he would later regret. Mr. Lincoln intuitively understood the principle of the deliberate response method: acknowledge your initial emotional reaction privately, but choose your public response carefully. Our brains are wired for quick reactions, a survival mechanism from our evolutionary past. When faced with a threat, the amygdala triggers our fight or flight response before our rational prefrontal cortex can fully process the situation. This biological reality explains why we often react in ways we later regret. The good news is that we can rewire these patterns through conscious practice. The space between stimulus and response isn't fixed. It can be expanded. Each time you pause before reacting, you strengthen neural pathways that support thoughtful responses over impulsive reactions. This practice creates a virtuous cycle. More pause leads to better responses, which leads to better outcomes, which reinforces the value of pausing. You can implement the deliberate response method today by adopting a simple practice. When faced with a triggering situation, silently count to 10 before speaking or taking action. During those 10 seconds, ask yourself, will my natural reaction serve my highest goals? If not, choose a response that aligns with the person you aspire to be rather than the emotion you happen to feel in the moment. The benefits of mastering this skill extend far beyond avoiding regrettable outbursts. Research shows that people with greater emotional regulation enjoy better relationships, lower stress levels, improved decision-making, and even longer lives. By creating space between stimulus and response, you're literally rewiring your brain for greater well-being. In professional settings, this practice becomes particularly valuable. Leaders who respond rather than react inspire trust and confidence. They make decisions based on principles rather than pressures. They model emotional intelligence that others naturally want to emulate. Of course, implementing this practice isn't always easy. In moments of intense emotion, remembering to pause can feel impossible. Start by practicing in low-stakes situations. Notice minor irritations throughout your day and use them as opportunities to practice pausing. Over time, your capacity will grow. The paradox of the deliberate response method is that by slowing down your initial reaction, you actually speed up your progress toward your most important goals. Each thoughtful response builds momentum toward becoming the person you aspire to be. With consistent practice, the gap between stimulus and response will widen, giving you greater freedom to choose calm over chaos in any situation. This growing space becomes your sanctuary of freedom, a place where you reclaim your power from circumstances and exercise your uniquely human capacity for choice. Remember, between stimulus and response lies a space. Master that space, and you master yourself. 7. It develops mental calm. Your mind and body are not separate entities, but parts of an integrated system. The state of your physical body directly impacts your capacity for mental calm. This principle is often overlooked by those seeking emotional mastery, yet it provides one of the most direct pathways to an unshakable mind. When your body is functioning optimally, your threshold for stress increases dramatically, allowing you to maintain composure under pressures that would overwhelm others. John D. Rockefeller, despite building one of the largest fortunes in history and facing intense public scrutiny, lived to the age of 97, largely because he prioritized physical habits that supported mental calm. At the height of his career, when stress threatened his health, he revolutionized his daily routine. He began taking afternoon naps, spending time outdoors daily, and engaging in light physical activity regardless of his demanding schedule. These practices restored not only his health but his mental equilibrium. This connection between physical well-being and mental resilience isn't merely anecdotal. Modern neuroscience confirms that our physiological state creates the foundation upon which our psychological experience rests. A body in distress, whether from exhaustion, inflammation, or nutritional deficiencies, triggers cascades of stress hormones that make calm thinking nearly impossible, regardless of mental discipline. Consider the business executive who prides herself on mental toughness yet subsists on 4 hours of sleep and caffeine. Her perception of resilience is illusion. She's operating at a fraction of her potential while experiencing stress responses far more intense than necessary. Meanwhile, her colleague who prioritizes 8 hours of sleep approaches identical challenges with genuine equanimity, making clearer decisions with less internal turmoil. You can establish your own physical foundation for mental calm by implementing 3 non-negotiable daily practices. First, secure 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep, as sleep deprivation dramatically lowers your stress threshold. Second, engage in at least 30 minutes of physical movement that elevates your heart rate, releasing tension from your body and endorphins in your brain. Third, be strategic about your nutrition, minimizing stimulants and processed foods that create internal chaos. When you honor these physical fundamentals, you'll be amazed at how much more mental pressure you can handle with grace and clarity. These practices aren't luxuries, they're prerequisites for those who face significant demands yet wish to maintain inner peace. The ancient Stoics understood this principle, with Epictetus noting that one cannot separate the health of the body from the tranquility of the mind. In modern context, we might call this stress-proofing your nervous system. The beauty of this approach lies in its accessibility. While advanced meditation techniques might take years to master, anyone can improve sleep hygiene tonight. Anyone can take a brisk walk tomorrow morning. These simple physical interventions yield immediate benefits for mental state. Those who implement these foundations often report not just greater calm but enhanced mental performance across all domains. Thoughts become clearer, emotional reactions less volatile, and creative insights more accessible. The noise floor of unnecessary internal distress lowers, allowing subtle mental signals to emerge. As you build this physical foundation for mental mastery, maintain perspective about temporary setbacks. One night of poor sleep or a missed workout doesn't negate your progress. The goal isn't perfection, but a sustainable commitment to bodily practices that support your highest mental functioning. Remember, Rockefeller, even with world-changing responsibilities, he recognized that time invested in physical wellness wasn't time away from his work. It was an investment in his capacity to handle that work with exceptional clarity and stamina. In following his example, you build not just a calmer mind today, but resilience that can sustain you through life's inevitable challenges. 8. It develops perspective. Your perception of events determines their impact on your emotional state far more than the events themselves. Two people can experience identical circumstances, yet respond entirely differently based on their perspective. This principle gives you tremendous power, the ability to reframe any situation in a way that supports your mental calm rather than undermines it. It is not about denying reality, but about choosing which aspects of reality you will emphasize. Charles M. Schwab, who rose from day laborer to president of United States Steel Corporation and became one of America's wealthiest men, during the financial panics that destroyed many businesses, Schwab maintained remarkable composure. When asked about his ability to stay calm amid chaos, he explained, "I have observed that those who achieve lasting success do so not by railing against unfortunate circumstances, but by finding the favorable aspects of those circumstances." His perspective transformed potential disaster into opportunity. This wisdom echoes through the ages and across disciplines. The most successful individuals throughout history have understood that the mind can transform any circumstance through the power of interpretation. Every adversity carries with it the seed of an equivalent or greater benefit, as one great thinker observed. This principle reveals that opportunity often wears the disguise of temporary defeat. Those who develop the habit of looking past the obstacle to find this hidden opportunity maintain their emotional equilibrium while others succumb to despair. The wealthiest and most accomplished individuals share this remarkable ability to transmute negative experiences into stepping stones toward their goals. They understand that failure is never final unless you accept it as such. This perspective turns setbacks into valuable feedback rather than emotional catastrophes. You can harness the power of perspective through a simple but powerful question. In 5 years, what will matter most about how I handle this situation? This temporal distance immediately reduces the emotional intensity of the moment and highlights what truly deserves your mental energy. Another perspective-shifting question is what opportunity might be disguised in this difficulty. Remember, your eyes can only see what your mind is prepared to comprehend. Train your mind to look for opportunity in adversity, and you will find your emotional equilibrium remains stable even in turbulent circumstances. This reframing ability becomes particularly crucial during personal or professional setbacks. The most successful individuals maintain unwavering faith in their ability to achieve their aims, regardless of temporary defeat. They understand that persistence is futile without the proper perspective. One must persist intelligently, learning and adapting, rather than merely repeating failed approaches. The skill of perspective shifting can be developed through daily practice. Begin by monitoring your thoughts carefully, recognizing that negative emotions stem from interpretations rather than circumstances themselves. When facing challenges, consciously replace destructive thoughts with constructive alternatives. This mental discipline gradually becomes habitual, creating an automatic tendency toward advantageous perspectives. Remember that true emotional mastery comes not from controlling external events, but from controlling your reactions to them. The person who has developed this skill possesses a form of freedom unavailable to those whose emotions are dictated by circumstances. As you master perspective, challenges that once seemed overwhelming become opportunities to demonstrate your mental strength and strategic vision. With consistent practice, you'll discover that your capacity for maintaining calm amid chaos grows steadily. Situations that once triggered stress now trigger curiosity and creative problem solving. This transformation represents one of life's most valuable achievements, the ability to maintain your mental composure regardless of external conditions. The strategic use of visualization. Your mind cannot distinguish between a vividly imagined experience and an actual one. This principle gives you an extraordinary tool for developing mental calm. Through strategic visualization, you essentially pre-experience challenging situations and program your desired response. This mental rehearsal creates neural pathways that your brain will naturally follow when the real situation arises. allowing you to access calm states automatically. Bobby Jones, the legendary golfer who dominated the sport in the 1920s, attributed much of his success under pressure to visualization. Before every shot, he would play a mental movie of the ball's perfect trajectory and landing. "I never hit a shot," he said, "not even in practice, without having a very sharp in-focus picture of it in my head." This same technique can be applied to any situation where you wish to maintain your composure. The science behind this phenomenon is compelling. Neurologically, visualization activates many of the same brain regions as physical experience. When you vividly imagine performing an action, your brain fires similar neural patterns as when you actually perform it. Athletes have leveraged this understanding for decades, with studies showing that mental practice can significantly improve physical performance. The applications extend far beyond sports. Consider public speaking, through regular visualization, you can train your nervous system to associate speaking opportunities with confidence rather than anxiety. By repeatedly imagining yourself delivering a powerful presentation, feeling grounded, hearing your steady voice, seeing the engaged audience, you create a mental blueprint that your brain follows when the real moment arrives. What makes strategic visualization particularly powerful is its accessibility. Unlike many techniques that require special circumstances or equipment, this practice can be done anywhere, anytime. A few minutes of focused mental rehearsal during your morning routine or before bed can yield remarkable results. The key to effective visualization lies in sensory richness. Don't simply think about the situation, experience it. Incorporate all your senses. What do you see? What sounds are present? What physical sensations accompany your state of calm? The more detailed and immersive your visualization, the more effectively it programs your nervous system. Emotional engagement is equally crucial. As you visualize, genuinely feel the emotional state you want to embody. If you're practicing maintaining calm during a difficult conversation, truly experience that sense of centeredness, the steady rhythm of your breathing, and the clarity of your thoughts. Your brain doesn't just record the imagined scenario, it registers the associated emotional state. Begin implementing strategic visualization by identifying 3 challenging scenarios you commonly face. Perhaps it's a difficult conversation with a specific person, a high-pressure work situation, or a circumstance that typically triggers anxiety. Spend 5 minutes each day visualizing yourself moving through these scenarios with complete calm and clarity. See the details vividly, the environment, the other people involved, the words exchanged. Most importantly, feel the emotional state of composure you want to maintain. With consistent practice, you'll find that when similar situations arise in real life, your mind and body naturally remember the calm state you've mentally rehearsed. Consistency matters more than duration. 5 minutes of focused visualization daily will yield better results than an hour once a week. Consider integrating this practice into existing routines, perhaps immediately after meditation or just before sleep when your mind is naturally receptive. As you develop this skill, you'll discover that strategic visualization becomes more than a technique. It becomes a fundamental approach to life's challenges, transforming potentially stressful situations into opportunities to experience your highest level of functioning. In the crucible of crisis, true character emerges. The way you handle yourself when challenges arise not only determines your immediate outcomes, but shapes your enduring legacy. When chaos swirls around you, your ability to maintain mental clarity and emotional stability marks you as a leader worth following, regardless of formal titles or positions. Florence Nightingale during the Crimean War. While others recoiled from the horrific conditions in military hospitals, Florence Nightingale approached the situation with methodical calm. She implemented basic sanitation practices amid squalor and suffering, dramatically reducing mortality rate. Her composed presence became a beacon of hope and direction. Soldiers, doctors, and nurses alike found themselves naturally following her lead, not because of any official authority, but because her composure inspired confidence when fear threatened to overwhelm. This pattern repeats throughout history and in everyday life. Those who maintain their center during difficulty naturally draw others to them. In families, workplaces, and communities, composed individuals become informal leaders, their steady presence creating islands of calm in turbulent waters. Your own composure creates a ripple effect that extends far beyond any immediate situation. When you respond thoughtfully rather than react emotionally to challenges, you establish an atmosphere that allows clearer thinking and better decision. Others sense this shift and unconsciously align with your energy. Your calm becomes contagious. Children especially absorb these lessons deep. They learn not from lectures about handling stress, but from watching how you respond when plans collapse, when finances tighten, or when conflict arises. Your example writes itself into their emotional blueprint, shaping how they'll handle their own future challenge. Colleagues and friends similarly draw strength from your steady presence. Intense meetings, difficult conversations, or moments of organizational uncertainty, your composure offers an alternative to anxiety and reactivity. You demonstrate that another way is possible. This capacity for composure isn't innate, it's cultivated through consistent practice. Each difficult moment offers an opportunity to strengthen this muscle. When you feel yourself being pulled into reaction, the simple act of pausing and breathing consciously can reset your nervous system. Regular practices like meditation, reflection, or physical disciplines build your capacity to remain centered when it matters most. The development of unshakable calm represents one of life's most valuable achievements. It transforms not only your external results, but your internal experience. Challenges that once would have derailed you for days become moments of temporary turbulence. Problems that would have seemed overwhelming become puzzles to solve methodically. Remember that the ultimate measure of your success isn't the absence of storms in your life, but your ability to bring peace to the storm. Everyone faces difficulties. What distinguishes extraordinary individuals is how they face them. This becomes your true legacy, not what you accumulate or achieve, but who you become and how that transformation touches others. Long after specific accomplishments are forgotten, people will remember how you made them feel in moments of crisis, the confidence you inspired, the clarity you maintained, the compassion you demonstrated. By cultivating composure, you offer others a living example of what's possible in the face of life's inevitable challenges. Your personal practice of mental mastery becomes your most meaningful gift to everyone you encounter, a gift that continues giving long after you've left the room.